This is a tri-generational conversation for emerging leaders, the Limitless Leadership Lounge. I'm so excited for this particular episode because all four of us here on the meeting are educators of some sort. And that's really exciting to me because it takes a certain type of personality to be an educator for sure, and a certain skill set. And one of those skill sets is leadership. So as a new educator myself and someone who's in a different world altogether most of the time, I'm excited to learn from these three great educators that we have today, including Dr. Kareem, who's back from Bangladesh and with us here in the United States. And she's brought along a really cool guest that we're excited to introduce. So, Renuma, go ahead and introduce our guest.
Thank you so much, John. It is really a pleasure to introduce one of our guests at Limitless Leadership Lounge. So, welcome, Mohammad Mollah Ronok. Thanks for being at the Limitless Leadership Lounge. Ronok is an author, an educationist, and also an entrepreneur. And he knew what he wanted to do from age 16, which was to serve his country, Bangladesh, making an impact through education. His dream was to create and build an extraordinary community of young people with substance and character. After graduating from technology and Pittsburgh State University, receiving a degree in international business, between 2012 and 2016, he was given an opportunity to start an international school named Seven Skies from scratch in Malaysia. Having been the youngest school leader in Malaysia, SSI was established and now is flourishing at the permanent campus with 300 plus students and in its seventh year. In 2017, Mr. Ronok returned home with his family with the aim to achieve his dream of building that world-class school in Bangladesh. The challenges were unending, but his faith and determination was unshakable. Even the pandemic was taken as just another challenge and nothing more. The dream was so big that not achieving was not an option. In January 2021, the beautiful and avant-garde school, Springdale International, was conceived, and he has also recently published a self-help book named Shine for people looking for that extra focus to start their own journey. So, Mr. Ronald, we are so pleased and excited to have you among us. This Limitless Leadership Lounge, we will be picking your brain a little bit about your journey and your leadership path and share some insight. It would be great if you can share some insight on your experience. So without any delay, the first question I would like to ask you, what actually motivated you behind opening a school and branching it out all across the world now?
First of all, thank you, Dr. Kareem and team of Limited Leadership Lounge for having me on board. I'm really excited and thrilled to be here. Insights about what motivated me to start my journey as an educationist or an educational entrepreneur. It's really a dream. When I was 16, as you mentioned, I kept having this calling for myself. I couldn't explain what it was. I was a very much an introverted child. I wasn't the sharpest student in the school either. But I did dream a lot, and not only when I was sleeping, when I was wide awake, right? Imagination, as Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. Imagination is a coming attraction to what's coming for you, right? So I really believed in that, and I, you know, shared my vision with a couple of my teachers at that time. And, by the grace of the Almighty, these teachers were amazing people. And they said, "Oh, great. Yeah, go for it." I had no idea how to, build my own school. This is like a 5-acre property and, over 700 students. I'm like, oh my God, okay. All right, I'm gonna do it. So I didn't know. I got myself involved in everything I could. and I guess I never wanted to grow up. So I've always involved myself in school. I just knew I wanted my own school. I just didn't know how. So I let what was not in my control not bother me. So I kept doing what was within my control. So what was within my control was I got involved in teaching. I got involved in being a teacher's aide, in doing literally anything, really, whatever was available. I built a lab with my math teacher over the summer to buy my first cell phone. um, and even when I went to the US in college, every break I got involved in community schools. I helped them develop curriculum. I helped them literally anything. I was the floating teacher, you can say, everybody, could just count on, or, hey, we have a teacher absent, Ronok, fill in, or, can you do this for us? Can you teach PE? I was also in the high school. I played basketball in high school, so I was also like a basketball coach for a lot of schools.
Oh,
And
coach, you are
Right
same
up my
range.
so that's the motivation, really. It's I believe that every one of us have a vision, a calling, right? A dream that we just don't know how to explain it, but we don't usually take greater interest in it. As for me, I have taken a greater interest in it. I actually wrote it down, and I kept reading it. I kept imagining it until it became very concrete. And you can say I was, sort of like pregnant with it, and I had to achieve it.
Right, right. And it is like it seems like you manifested your dream into reality by living and breathing in it. And I think one important takeaway from this for our listeners is mastering the skills. We can dream, but if we don't work for it or master the skills before getting into the ocean, we also need to learn all those skills to stay afloat. So you learned all those skills, you got yourself involved, and I think this is what emerging leaders should do when they start dreaming. Find ways to master those skills that can help them to achieve their dreams.
Absolutely. You have to unlock your gifts. So vision and skills are two different things. Gifts are what do you do the best with the least amount of effort? You
Right.
discover that when you're in school very easily. You'll see kids that are very good in video games, for example, very naturally very good. And there are other kids who have got no idea how to go from one side to the other. And then you have other kids they just love reading books. Like they finish 100 pages a day. As when I was a kid, like I would only read biographies, right? I wasn't really into novels or anything. So, I would just read real life, real people life story. My English teacher was frustrated, like, why couldn't I read faster? I would take my time and read, and it's okay. So I figured my skill was, um, rallying people. My skill was I could get a team motivated when the team was losing in basketball, for example, right? I could get the spirit up. So I discovered that I do this the best. So I just use my skill set to my vision. What was my vision in school? So in school, you need this on a daily basis, like 5 times a day or something. You need to up the spirit of the other educators, your team members, children, parents, everything, and that's what it is.
Ronak, I'm really curious, because I was a coach for a long time, and the one thing I did have control, and you had control, and certainly a lot of our listeners are leaders that maybe are starting their own venture or do have the ability to choose the people to be on their team. Now, you've done it multiple times with two various schools in two different countries. Tell us your insights, your journey of how you created, what were you looking for to bring in the right people for your team? You know, because you have a lot of staff, and obviously you got to have the right people on your team to attract students. So tell us about your journey and your insights on picking the right people for your team.
Well, thank you so much for asking this. This is a very this question is very important for me. When I was, you know, when I started my journey, I had a really good mentor who taught me that people, strategy, execution, cash, right? So he said, before anything, you start with people because they are literally everything. So from the very beginning, I was like in my 20s, you know, early 20s, and I'm already, you know, wired up that human beings, human resources are my best resources. So I cannot simplify that, right? So I took greater interest in learning personalities, you know, introverts versus extroverts, you know, INTJ versus ENTJ and all that, you know, different. So what I did was, obviously, you know, I'm a very vision-oriented leader. So I have my own vision set and everything. And what I did was I have chalked down, okay, what kind of people am I looking for? And I realized that people don't know their own potential, right? So I went unorthodox. Like I took people who were not, you know, in the education sector. I convinced them to come to education, right? So, and that worked miracle for me. Like you know, a PE teacher, I convinced them, you know, to be in the leadership position, for example, right? Who never led team, he just led children, right? Or an Arabic teacher who just knew how to teach the foreign language or a second language, for example, came from, you know, a different country and, you know, now is the head of academics, for example, right? That doesn't happen in traditional schools. Traditional schools, you know, if you need an English teacher, you're looking for a CV that shows a record of teaching English in the last 3 schools, the last 7 years, 5. What I would do is I would look for, you know, someone who really is really into the language itself rather than a teacher, because that I look for infectious with their way of teaching, with their way of, you know, interacting. So I basically headhunt my entire team. I don't do job adverts very rarely, unless I'm really, really desperate. But I do headhunt. I follow people. Yes, yes. As an employer, we do stalk people. We get in touch, you know, but I've always managed to find the right people, and right people are also very difficult to maintain, you know, especially people with really, really high skills. They're just sometimes they're not disciplined. And when you find disciplined people, you know, it's like ability and willingness, right? So I try to balance the two qualities. If you're able but not willing, it's not going to work for me. If you're willing but not able, I can build on that. I can try and build on that, right? So we have had so many successful stories, even in the school in Malaysia and Springdale here. People have discovered themselves that they have skills and talents they couldn't utilize, you know, and they're in their mid-30s, for example, and they're able to actualize their, you know, their own dreams. So I've aligned their visions with my vision, and that seemed to work for me and them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure does. And it's so interesting. And I also want to go back to the beginning, because when you talked about when you were 16 years old, having that calling that you had, and so many of us oftentimes have a calling and we're motivated to do something, but then we're told by outside forces, whether it be people, whether it be just cultural expectations, that we can't for whatever reason. Maybe it's not a sustainable career. Maybe it's something that won't make you money. Maybe you just don't have the skill sets. Maybe you're a woman in a man's role or a man in a woman's role. Whatever the case is, we're often told that we can't. Did you have any experiences with those outside forces telling you that you couldn't achieve your dream? And if you did, how did you handle that internally to overcome those obstacles?
That's the first thing I had to overcome. So I told you that I actually wrote it down. I wrote down what I wanted, and I kept reading it, like, and I wrote like 200 things down in my vision board, right? So somebody told me, if you want something so bad, you got to write it down. And if you don't have it written down, it means you don't really want it that bad, right? So I took it literally. Like I'm like a straight arrow. Like if I find a good advice, I'll take it and I'll just go at it like full 100% focus. I'm weird that way, but it works out. It really works out. Very focused. So one of the first things I had to conquer was that fear of rejection. One of the first things, fear of what other people are gonna think. What will my parents think? Will they accept this, or will my community accept this? So I had a lot of people saying, "How are you gonna do it? How you're so young." Usually school founders are like in their 50s and 60s. Literally the youngest founder in the country now. I'm pretty sure I'm the youngest founder in the country now. So I've faced a lot of challenges. I came back in 27. It took me literally 4 years to actually understand, my way around, navigate my way around the people, the culture, the stigma. And I heard a lot of no's. How you gonna do it? You can't do it. We won't let you do it. Let's see how you do it. I am a patient of retinitis pigmentosa. I have a low vision. So that was also a part of my challenge. I've had this for some time now, but I've achieved everything I have achieved regardless of my limitation or different ability. So people picked on that as well, that you can't see how you're going to do anything you're promising that you're going to do. So but I kept at it. I believed in myself. I did not allow what people were saying get to me. I just didn't. I kept positive. People around me, I actually clinically had to cut out toxic um, surroundings, toxic people. I had to limit my circles to only those that that had a pat on the back, like, no, you got this, you got this. You keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So circle became very small, like literally, as they say, you're the average of 5 that you surrounded by. So I surrounded myself, and I was very blessed to be surrounded by people who were like 10 years older to me, and they were like already doing their PhDs when I was just entering college. So I kept those friends, I kept in touch, and we used to hang out. They would advise me on a day-to-day basis. So I wasn't thinking like the people in my age. I wasn't. When people were hanging out, I was planning. I was designing my brand and my plans, and writing 10 more things down on my vision board. So those things, being occupied with those things and having an exceptional support system really helped me, pass those challenges and those no's, because yes lives in the land of no. I believe that. I always believe that it's no means not just yet.
Mhm.
right?
Right. Right.
I've always translated no as not just now. Okay. I've never taken no as no, never.
Mhm.
Always taught children since my really early childhood, when I was, mentoring young kids, I've never allowed them to say no. I said, you know what? This word no is not allowed to be uttered in front of me. You say something else. No, not just yet. Or I can't do it. No, can I do it? How else can I do it? Who else can I talk to? Where else can I go? When else? Where else? So everything else except that, I can't do it. I've never allowed myself to say I can't do it. So those are the few things that really help me overcome this you know rejection or this stigma. And so the first thing I conquered was the fear of rejection and fear of failure, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know,
But
am I
this
making
is
sense?
so, Ronak, this is so inspiring that because probably many do not know that we are we're in Bangladesh. We are a society where uh, everybody will try to implement some fear, like, and if you have any kind of disability or any kind of drawbacks, that becomes a huge thing that you cannot move forward because of those. But you are an inspiration for so many younger people that once you can set your mind on it, you have a plan, a process, you know what outcome you want to achieve, then nothing can stop you if you give effort. So, yeah, and these are the stories that people, young people from all over the world need to hear. And one thing also you exemplify is the mindset. So we are always talking about Carol Dweck's growth mindset. So when you mentioned that not yet, never say no, that is what Carol Dweck was always talking about, the growth mindset. And it also proves that you need to, if you want to succeed, you have to have that growth mindset to move forward. So piggybacking on that, what is success to you? Because nowadays, when I talk to younger generation, success to them is earning a lot of money, those material achievements and things like that. Often, sometimes I get disheartened listening to it. But what is success to you?
It's really interesting. I was having a conversation with a teenager this morning, right after the gym, at the changing room, and we just started talking, and he's told me what he was doing. He was getting ready for his O levels, and I said, "Hey, I'm a founder of a school as well. So what's your plan?" And he said, "I never thought about what my plan is after O levels." And I said, "You should write things down. You know what? Write 30 things down." And he immediately said the first 30 things will be like 30 different Porsches. You know,
Oh,
uh,
right.
I'm like, great. Then you know what? You're in a different level. So write 200 things down for me and then come and see me. So he promised that after his O levels, he's gonna come and see me with his vision board. So that's a win for me. I convinced another
Mm,
soul to become their vision board. Take great pleasure in that.
Hmm.
So mindset, growth mindset, or success. I when I hear success, I hear significance.
mm,
I don't hear the word success, right? I can't relate to the word success because there are so many variations of what success means to somebody. So significance is something that we all can relate to because um there's nothing wrong wanting to be rich, wanting to be, the next billionaire, or wanting to be in the shark's tank, dragon's den. But what do you do with that uh ability, the resources, how much positive impact you're creating to the people around you, right? That is what I call, success or significance, how much positive impact. So
mm,
for me, wherever you can create positive impact and inspire people to be their best at what they do. Um, and the more infectious you are, the more people you're helping in your life, the wealthier you are, right?
True.
That's what significance means to me,
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point because you often hear like, and I think it's totally true that it's not so much how much money you have, but how much money you have will amplify whether you're a good person or a bad person. If you have a lot of money, if you're a good person, you'll make that much more difference. But if you're a bad person, you will also make that much more difference in the other
Mm.
direction. So I really like what you're saying.
Thank you.
Ronak, how about, going back to, you've got your team of people, you started, 2 schools, and as a leader, we always talk about how do you build that great culture? So I'd love to hear your journey and your insights of how you're building this culture that people want to be part of.
Thank you so much for asking. So I thought about this a lot, like how do I build a culture that promotes sense of belonging, right? Like for me, I call my staff my family. I don't see my staff as dispensable or people we can hire and fire. I've never looked my people as that. I think my people will testify. If you come across any of my team members, pull them aside. You just ask them, "Are you the founder's family?" You'll say yes. You know, he considers us as a family because literally I'm spending 1/3 of my day with them and not just spending time, they're actually dreaming what I'm dreaming, actualizing the vision that I'm trying to actualize. So, um, so the building, a culture that promotes safety, security, and a sense of belonging can be done many ways. One of the ways I have done, for example, especially during the induction program, you'll see most companies would give like a typical notebook, typical, pen, or maybe a T-shirt that says the, you know, big company name on the chest or on the back, right? What we did was we took a step forward. We put everybody's name on those goodies, right? So yes, we had Springdale on the chest, but we had Dr. Kareem on the back. We had, John on the key ring. We had, John on the pen. So on one end you see Springdale, on the other hand you see John, right?
Right.
And this was very new to the people here. They have never seen something like this. And school is out of question, right? They appreciated so much that they actually took them home as souvenirs, where I wanted them to like use it on a regular basis, right? Now they're using it. Now, I'm encouraging. They bring your mug. Where's your mug with your name on? I want to see it on your desk. Take pride. The people are so deprived of appreciation that it takes time to build a sense of belonging, to build that culture, but you have to build it as a leader. You're not going to get a ready-made team, no matter how much money you have, no matter what, big funds you have. If you are not creating a culture, you're just creating a system, which is not going to go very far. You're going to fall right on your face. So this is why we are one of the trailblazers in the country now. We're growing so fast that we have got we're the fastest accredited school in the country now of the International Baccalaureate. And this has never happened before. People ask you, how'd you do it? What's the magic? I'm like, look, all I did was I took care of my people and they took care of everything.
Right.
So, serving your people, as a leader, you can't, those iron fist days are gone. especially with the new generation. Teachers are younger, right? Younger than the teachers when I was a kid. The teachers, the newer generation, they thrive on appreciation. If you're not appreciating people, you're not appreciating, I say that people choose to work with us, to work with me. You know, I I see my people as, you can say customers or, you know, uh, you know, partners or running mates. They choose to be in my team. They don't, I never take them for granted. And every time I have paid
Hmm.
the price for it, you know.
Mm.
So, eh, I've done it for so long that I know that this is the formula that works.
So true.
Hey, Ronok, oh, I know you have a book as well, which is something that we wanted to dive into here before we wrapped up, because this is so cool that not only are you leading these schools, but you're also putting all this knowledge and insight that you're giving us into these quotes that you're creating as a book. Could you talk about the inspiration behind the book and where we can get our hands on it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've compiled this collection of my quotations over the last 10 years. I am a person that I like to be inspired. I thrive in inspiration. I look for inspiration everywhere. If you see my office, it's filled with quotations of Nelson Mandela, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, and so
Mm.
many others. Um, so every time I've come across an inspiration and I say, you know what, how can I also inspire somebody? Um, what do I gain from this moment? I call it, gem, like my general enlightened moments. So,
Mm.
just write them down. But I never got the chance or actually the courage um, to go like, I'm actually going to turn it into a book. So that fear of rejection creeped in again when it came to the book again. So, I was beating it in one way, but it was creeping in another way. So it was a new frontier for me. But I knew I had to conquer it again, right? So I finally, compiled it up. But why did I compile it? I did it for people like me who are in a position of leadership, who are in charge of a lot of people, a lot of good people who come to us for solution for their problems. They look for inspiration. You're literally counseling every day, 10, 12, 15 people on a regular basis keep coming to you with problems. So I don't understand this. What do you advise on this and this? Some people come with the personal problems, it's no longer enough to just, be professional. You also have to sometimes take interest in finding out what other distractions your people are having so that they give the absolute optimal focus at work. So while doing that, you get really bogged down because you need your own inspiration as well. So
Mm.
I said, where can I go? Where do I go for my inspiration when everybody's coming from me to me? Where do I go? What about me? You know? So, I realized I'm going to like Facebook or Instagram. Sometimes I see positive things, other times I don't. I said, okay, that's not good. That's too much time for me. I'm very frugal with my time, right? So I said, you know what? If I can compile something for young leaders or emerging leaders, or even like experienced leaders, where they can have a guaranteed shot that if I open this, I will only reach something positive, right? That will help me get through my day. And it
Mm.
is all about their journey. It is actually an interactive book. I think Dr. Kareem
I
has
have that. Yeah,
you'll
I
see that
love
every
it.
page there is like a journal. I have my own Rorschachs.
Mhm.
So in my brightest days, in my difficult, challenging days, I did some ink blots. and psychologists use ink blots and Rorschachs to understand your emotions, right? What are you going through at that time? So, and I've left next to my emotion as empty space for whoever is reading it or whoever is in their own journey can also express their emotion, can write whatever they want to write down after reflecting on what they have read in the past 8 pages, for example. And so and we had a book launch on the 15th of December in a local bookstore called the Bookworm in Gulshan, a nice, beautiful park. And we had a house full of friends and well-wishers and even walkers and joggers came by and appreciated the book. So I'm hoping that whoever takes Shine as a part of their journey will appreciate it, and because it is not about me, it is about anybody who's on a journey, and we're all on a journey, right? We're
Yeah, and
all on.
Ronald, can we get it in USA? Like, are you putting it in Amazon or other websites, so that we can have access to it?
I'm working on right now, put it up on Amazon Canada, and then the next step would be to put it up on Amazon US. Yes,
Great.
Well,
absolutely.
Ronak, I gotta ask you, because I'm a huge quote guy, John and Renuma know this. Can you share one or two of your favorites?
They're all my favorites. But if you see the section on resilience, failure, because I have failed a lot of times in my life in doing many things, and I've learned the most from my moments of failure, right? So if you open the section on the failure, you'll find my favorites. So one of them that says, learning from the failure is the best growth mindset, right? You learn the most from your moments of failure. Something simple like that, everybody can relate to, because it is not possible for anybody to be successful and they have not failed, you know. So the book is very relatable. It's humane, like, it will help. You can resonate, you can relate to it, you can read it, you can talk about it. It's your book now. Shine is no longer Ronok's book. It is your journey, so you can interpret it however you want. So my favorite is in that resilience section. So but they're all my favorite, to be honest with you. I'm very, very, very much a big believer on the self journey. Yeah, your own journey.
Shine. That's 99 quotes to illuminate your journey. And we're looking forward to when it's available here in whatever country you're listening here into the Limitless Leadership Lounge. We're really inspired and motivated by what you do, and you just are making the world a better place through not only your book, but also the schools that you've created and the great work that you've done. And even just like what the story that you shared about the young gentleman in the gym that you spoke with this morning is inspiring too, because I think that's what the best leaders do, is they're the ones who are out in the world spreading their light, shining their light with others as well. So we're really inspired by you.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate the work that you guys are doing as well. I have seen a lot of your YouTube videos since Dr. Kareem has reached out, and this is amazing. So please keep the good work up. Keep finding more and more leaders like myself and people who are better than me, so I can all continue to be, even a better version of myself. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any final
No,
any-
Ronald, thank you so much for all the inspiration, and definitely we look forward to have spread the word on Shine all across the world, and that that could be another of your goal, like getting it on the Amazon USA so that everybody can have access to it. And do you have like a email address that you would like to share with our audience? So if they need some inspiration, they could connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have an email address where it's open. It's reachronok@gmail.com. So you can reach me, like reach REACHRONOK, reachronok@gmail.com. It's open. I would love to, interact, advise in any possible way. But the biggest advice I'm giving you right now is you start believing in yourself.
Mm.
Be careful how you talk to yourself. So always believe it, that
So
you
true.
are born to be extraordinary. You're born to be
Beautiful.
extraordinary, and you're gonna be it. You're gonna act like it, you're gonna talk like it, and eventually you're gonna be it. Okay?
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you, Ronok, for your great insights. We really appreciate your time and insights.
Thank you, sir. It's my honor to be able to interact with you. Appreciate it.